Welcome to the Mr. Smart Maths channel, and my name is Mr. Smart. In this video, we're going to be looking at converting fractions, decimals, and percentages. Now, it should be said here, I'm going to be using a mixture of calculator and non-calculator methods. There are other ways to do it, but I'm going to show you some of the quickest ways to do it in this video. Okay, so three fractions that I want to convert into decimals and percentages. We've got 2/5, 3/25, and 1 3/8. Okay, so what we are going to do to turn these fractions into decimals is divide 2 by 5, 3 by 25, and in the case of the mixed number, we actually need to convert that into a top-heavy or an improper fraction first. So there is a video separately to this if you want to convert mixed numbers and fractions, but 1 3/8, 1 times 8 is 8, plus 3 is 11, so that becomes 11 over 8. So in the calculator, we do 2 divided by 5, 3 divided by 25, and 11 divided by 8. And our answers are as follows: 0.4, 0.12, and 1.375. So we write those in, and that is my first set of fractions converted into decimals. Now, to turn that into a percentage, we multiply those results by 100. So just move the decimal point 2 places to the right, or move the numbers 2 places to the left, and you end up with 40%, 12%, and 137.5%. Okay, so that's fractions into decimals and percentages. Let's take a look then at decimals. So we'll go through some examples just to illustrate. Let's start with 0.52. So 0.52 multiplied by 100 gives me 52%. 0.346 multiplied by 100 is 34.6%. And 1.34 multiplied by 100 gives me 134%. Right, to turn them into fractions. So let's look at my first decimal here, 0.52. So the first decimal place is in the tenths column, and the 2 is in the 100ths column. That means I can write this fraction as 52 out of 100. Because the 2, the final digit in this number, is in the hundredths column, and then we just write down all the significant figures in that number. So we have 52 over 100. Well, that becomes 26 over 50. And if you divide that again and simplify it fully, it becomes 13 over 25. Okay, let's look at the others. So we've got 0.346. The 6 is in the 1,000ths column. And that means we're going to write 346 over 1,000. And 346 over 1,000 simplifies to 173 over 500, just by dividing both the numerator and denominator by 2. Okay, 1.34 then. Well, the 4, my final digit, is in the hundredths column. So we're going to write this as 134 over 100. Okay, this will be an improper fraction because the number is bigger than 1. But we can still simplify it in the same way, and we get either 67 over 50 by dividing both numbers by 2, or as a mixed number, that becomes 1 and 17 over 50. Okay, finally then, we have percentages. So if we want to turn percentages into decimals, we do the inverse of how we did decimals to percentages, so we divide by 100. If we want to turn a percentage into a fraction, we're going to write that number over 100, because percent means divide by 100, and then simplify that fraction afterwards. Okay, now depending on the fraction that you are left with, that is easier or more tricky. So let's have a look at some examples so we can see how easy that is. Let's start with the top right here, so 48%. So divide 48 by 100, and that gives us a decimal of 0.48. 52.4 divided by 100 gives me 0.524. And then 138 divided by 100 gives me 1.38. Okay, as fractions. So 48% becomes 48 over 100. And that fraction can be simplified. So I'm going to divide that by 2, which is 24 over 50. divided by 2 again, and that gives me 12 over 25, which is in its simplest form. Okay, let's check out the others. So in this one, we're going to have 52.4 over 100. Now, because we have a decimal in the numerator, that's not in its simplest form. So what we do is we multiply both numerator and denominator by 10 until we don't have any decimal places anymore. So that becomes 524 over 1,000. And if I divide 524 by 4, and if I divide 1,000 by 4, I end up with 131 over 250. Okay, final example then. So 138% is 138 over 100. No messing around with decimals here, but we do have an improper fraction. Let's simplify it first so that it's easier to turn into a mixed number afterwards. So let's half 138, which is 69. So 69 over 50. And if I turn that into a mixed number, that becomes 1 and 19 over 50. Be sure to check out the Mr. Smart Maths channel on YouTube, and don't forget the website mrsmartmaths.com. See you again soon.